writing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time. No limits, no change, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. No limits, no chains, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. Every shot's a story, every cheer's a spark. Under the lights we make our mark. Beyond the scoreboard, beyond the lines. Out of the box, redefining the grind. The grind. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Thursday night. It is about 7:45. It's Thursday night. It's the Thursday night football preview. My name is Paul Spencer from Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Well, tonight we got a game, sort of a game. I mean, you think about these two teams, coming in a regular season, Rams loaded, San Francisco, a dynasty of the 80s, basically, has-beens, but they've been to the Super Bowl quite a few times since then. Great coaching staff, Kyle Shanahan, solid roster. But tonight, a little different story, man. I usually do the show about 30 minutes before the game, of course, because I don't like to come on early and our night before and talk about the game because there's a thing called inactives. We know who's on IR, but tonight, man, this 49ers team, I want to talk about injuries first. Inactive list. Oh, my God. You're talking basically – we know the Ravens have like 6 DBs coming with 6 defensive players on injury right now, doubtful, injured, not playing for Sunday's game. But tonight, man, the Niners, they're trying to say, hey, well, the Ravens got players out. We have players out too. Let's talk about the inactive roster first for the Niners. Okay, of course, Brock Purdy suffering that turf toe injury. He played last week. He is out again. Brock Purdy's out. Mac Jones will be starting at quarterback for his fourth start basically this year. He's doing pretty good, but Mac Jones has the controls tonight. Christian McCaffrey, he's playing tonight with Brian Robinson. This is where we're talking about some injuries now, guys. Well, the wide receivers. When you talk 2 out of the 3 starting wide receivers being out for a team, you're looking at Jawan Jennings being out. You're looking at Ricky Purcell being out. So who steps in right there? DeMarcus Robinson and Sky Moore. Kendrick Bourne will be starting tonight as well. Then you go to the defense side of the ball for the Niners. Nobody's out for the defense here. You have Nick Martin out tonight. He's a backup to D. Winters as an outside linebacker. So he'll be out tonight as well. But you're really not looking at anybody big. Malik Mustafa, he's going to be out. He's a third-string starting safety. Not starting safety, but reserve safety. He'll be out tonight too. But there is so many people out, of course, for the Niners. I mean, Nick Bosa's already out on IR. Brandon Ayuk, at the beginning of the season, he's on the PUP. So basically, you're down 3 of your real starting wide receivers. Ricky Purcell's being out. Of course, Jawan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk on PUP. So that takes them, as a disintegrating from offensive team to, well, hopefully we can even suit up enough players that we know who are going to be playing tonight. But then, you go to the Rams starting offense here. they had one player out. Tyler Higbee, the tight end, will be out tonight. Excuse me. Davis Allen or Cody Parkinson will be stepping in for him as well. Huge disadvantage there. Tight end, Tyler Higbee, a staple piece in their offense, getting downfield mid level there behind the linebackers. Going to be a different, difference maker in the game. Him being out, but then again, you do have weapons on the Los Angeles Rams side of the ball. On the defense side of the ball, no injuries at all. You're looking at maybe the third string defensive left end. DeJuan Johnson's out. Kerr Thomas is on IR. Not a lot of players for the Los Angeles Rams on IR or being inactive tonight on both sides of the ball. Tyler Higbee is the biggest name that we have out tonight. So we look at this game on paper and we say, wow, what can the Niners do tonight? What can they do? Visiting SoFi Stadium tonight, Thursday night football, prime time, a division game. So what do we look at here tonight? Of course, like I said, on paper, you look at the Rams and you think, well, this could be a blowout game. I mean, we're talking to that reference, David versus Goliath. Well, I wouldn't call it that way. I mean, these are two veteran teams. Kyle Shanahan is a good, solid coach. He can put players in positions to, get the best out of them. But, when you ask the players to get the best out of you here, let's start with the offense first. It's the worst part of the 49ers tonight. Brock Purdy's out, of course. We have Mac Jones in there. A quarterback that's been around the league, played for 4 teams already, found a place in San Francisco, has started this year, won 3 games already, put up good numbers, didn't turn the ball over. But you had Jennings, you had Purcell. Now tonight you don't have anybody on the offense side of the ball. I think McCaffrey and Robinson are going to be carrying the load. McCaffrey is going to probably get 25 carries to possibly maybe low 30 there. I know it's asking him a lot, but what else are you going to do in this offense right now? You really can't do anything. Like I said, you have Jennings out, you have Ricky Purcell out, Demarcus Robinson and Sky Moore. I think Sky Moore's total this year has 10 total yards in 4 games. So he's not really going to see it. DeMarcus Robinson, basically the same thing. You have 2 wide receivers here that have under 30 yards in 4 games for the Niners already this year. Kendrick Bourne, a couple of drop balls last week. I mean, really bad drop balls. I don't think the trust is there right now, but he is going to be your elite number 1 wide receiver on paper tonight. Jake Tongs is going to be out. He's going to be in as well. Luke Farrell, I think he gets more of the catches tonight over Jake Tongs tonight. I feel this Niners team is going to have a problem scoring the ball. Their offensive line is not banged up, but the problem is you're going to see this Rams team get after you. They know you don't have weapons on the outside of the ball. If you crowd the box and you stop Christian McCaffrey, CMC, you stop him, you have a hell of a chance to win this game tonight. So I feel the Rams, what they're going to do is they're bringing that extra guy in the box. They do run a 3-4 defense. I feel that they're going to have, 4 linebackers up there tonight. They're going to creep a safety up. I don't think they're going to play a 2-song safety. I think they bring that safety up tonight, crowd that box and stop McCaffrey. Either him or Robinson in the game tonight. If you do that, you're going to have to make Mac Jones beat you with basically nobodies. Kendrick Bourne, Sky Moore, DeMarcus Robinson. I mean, that would be the best, thing for the Rams to do. Say, hey, you know what? We're going to crowd the box, stop with the best asset the 49ers have, CMC tonight. Make Mac Jones beat you. Hey, if he can throw for 250, 300 yards, couple TDs, and you lose the game, hey, you got beat by a scheme that you didn't think they could do. So credit to them. But I don't think that's going to happen tonight. You look at this offensive line. They do have a good offensive line. Not the best in the NFL, of course not. But Trent Williams, man, all-world Trent Williams, getting a little older. Left tackle. The left guard, you have Connor Colby. Center, you have Jack Bradendall. Right guard, you have Dominic Pooney. And then Colton McKitts at right tackle here. A solid offensive line who has kept Brock Purdy upright, kept Mac Jones in the pocket upright too. They've done their job, not high-name quality guys other than Trent Williams, all-universe, all-pro, Trent Williams. We know what he is. But they have kept Mac Jones and Brock Purdy when he was in last week upright. So I think this defense will feast on that offensive line tonight. Like I said, if you stop Christian McCaffrey, you make Mac Jones try to beat you somewhere, because who are you throwing the ball to? Who are you throwing the ball tonight? Kendrick Bourne, who had a lot of drop balls last night, 3 drop balls that should have been easy catches last night to move the sticks last week. Well, you got him as number 1 wide receiver. You got Juwan Jennings out. You got Ricky Purcell out. Sky Moore, who's not a slot. He's a slot guy. He's a speedster. But is Mac Jones going to have that time in the pocket to throw the ball tonight? Like I said, it's going to be a heavy dose of CMC tonight. I do think it's probably going to be 25 carries for him. I could possibly see maybe 10 to 12 carries for Robinson tonight. Their backup, Brian Robinson, coming over from Washington. I feel like he's going to get a lot of carries tonight because to me, I'm not trusting Mac Jones to get this ball downfield to basically your third, fourth, and fifth wide receivers tonight. Kendrick Bourne is a starter, but he has a lot of drop balls coming into the season so far. So advantage Rams, but we didn't even talk about their defense. Their defense is a 3-4 defense. Brandon Fisk left in. You have Pona Ford playing a nose tackle, old school nose tackle. Colby Turner at right defensive end. That's your up front 3 down linemen. Then you're looking at your linebackers. They are speed linebackers here. When you talk about them, excuse me, this guy didn't eat. I'm sorry about that, everyone. This guy didn't eat either. You have Brian Young, who's a solid guy, Nate Landon, Omar Spites, and Jared Verse. We know Jared Verse is a fast defensive end linebacker, hybrid that can get to the quarterback. I feel that when he lines up on that side out there, the strong linebacker side, I feel that he's not going to be on. He's going to be on Trent Williams' side on the left side, but I feel that he might move around, outside the pocket, sort of like a. I keep saying the name because I'm a Cowboy fan, Micah Parsons, how he can move side to side, look for the advantage there. I think he's going to line up on Trent Williams because this front 3 and, basically front 7 can get after the Niners offensive line. They're not banged up, but I give the advantage to the Rams front 7. I mean, they're very strong there. You go to the secondary. I love their secondary. They're very fast. They're ball hawks. You look at Kobe Durant. I love how he plays, solid guy. Then you go to the opposite side, Emmanuel Forbes coming over. He's a solid, 1-2 punch on the defense side of the ball there, corner. Then you go to Cam Curl, and then you have, Kamar Kitchens. I like this defense overall, 100% for the Rams tonight. We look at always on paper and we say, okay, let's look at their offense versus defense versus offense. You look at it, you got to say the Rams 100%, right? Of course. But players have to execute what goes on there. And they're always that shot that David could beat Goliath. But is tonight the night? I don't know. But let's talk about why. Real quick, got a comment here. Chris Rapizzi says, how many yards Nuka going to have tonight? Puka Nuka. Here's the thing, man. I'm going to, since we're talking about that, let's go to the offensive side of the ball real quick for the Niners here. Of course, the Niners are loaded. You talk about how loaded they are. I just want to laugh because this is a team, coming off a bad loss against the Eagles. The Eagles just find ways to win, of course. It's not about the Eagles tonight. But this Rams team is just so interesting. Okay, I love this team. The big pickup this year was Davante Adams. So you can pick your poison of what you want to think about, how you want to stop this team. Matt Stafford is the key. He's the engine. He's the conductor of the train. The thing with him, if he gets time in the pocket, he's not going to run. I mean, if you're a betting man, take the plus 5 yards. If he gets 5 yards, that might be a plus 200 there. He's not going to run the ball. He's going to stay in the pocket, and you give him time, he's going to pick you apart. Chris, you talked about Puka Nuka. Here's the thing. Kyren Williams, the running back, is a solid horse. You have Blake Corum right behind him. 2 guys, one from Notre Dame, one from Michigan, that love to run the ball. Undersized guys, but have the lunch pail mentality for both guys here. Then you go to the wide receiver just mentioned, Puka, Davante Adams. 1A, 1B elite wide receivers on both sides of the ball. To me tonight, I honestly think Nuka goes over about 70 to 80. I'm going to come to him in for a touchdown as well tonight. I think he's a solid guy. You can't stick him one-on-one because if you go to the safeties here, you're going to have a safety. And it's going to be Marquise Seigel tonight or Jaden Pinnock for the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to have the man on top. I think they're going to play a double safety on top, 2 safeties out there because you got Davante Adams as well. So you're going to have to run safeties on both sides of the ball here. To me, the big guy that's going to show up tonight is going to be Davis Allen or Coley Parkinson. Tyler Higbee is going to be out for the Rams tonight. We already talked about inactives. So I think the tight end is going to be the guy that gets behind the linebackers tonight. So I feel that's going to be the advantage there. Nuka is probably going to, like I said, is probably going to get 60 to 80 with 1 T tonight. Because with this team here, Nuka always gets his yards. But the thing is, you have Davante Adams. Take what the defense gives you. This team here says their philosophy is, okay, you take away one wide receiver, look on the other side. We got Adams on the other side. These guys are not divas. They love playing for the team for one thing, a win. They don't care about stats. They don't care about, how many reps they get, how many looks they get, how many balls thrown, how many catches, how many yards, how many yaks, how many TDs. They don't care about that. Devontae Adams came over like, okay, Cooper Kupp's gone. I know what he can do. He's a Triple Crown winner 3 years ago. Nuka, we know you're like the best thing since sliced bread now. I want to be a part of a winning team. So, Chris, to answer your question, I'm going to say 60-81 TD tonight. But Kyren Williams is going to be a solid guy on the ground tonight. Between him and Blake Corum, I love how the Rams run this ball. If you keep Matthew Stafford upright, this could be a lights out game. This possibly could get out of hand very easily. But I do think the Niners keep it close. This is a division game. We always say division games on the field are a little bit closer than what we say on paper. But you look at the offensive line here, for the Rams here. Tyler Higbee's going to be out. He's like a 12 personnel, 11 personnel. He's going to be the tight end, who's a hybrid tight end, of course. Davis Allen, Cole Parkinson will be playing tonight. Alaric Jackson is going to be a left tackle. Steve Avila is going to be a left guard. Coleman Shelton's going to be center. Kevin Dotson, and actually another inactive just came in just now as I'm looking at the wide over here. The right tackle, Rob Havenstein, is going to be out, which is going to be just looking at the thing right real quick. Warren McClendon is going to be starting there. So left tackle will be a different starter there tonight, a backup. And that means that you're going to be having on the right side, you're going to be looking at Mikael Williams could have an advantage over that part, McClendon over there. Also, you're looking outside linebacker is going to be Luke Gifford coming off the edge there. That could possibly be somewhere where the 49ers can attack. You're having a backup at right tackle. It's not your blind side, but then you can run a lot of stunts on someone that hasn't started again this year, played it in a limited backup role. Now, I'm looking at his real quick. McClendon has only had 16 snaps all season. So you think about a guy coming in 16 snaps in your fourth game here, you're looking at 60 snaps per game. That's 240. You only played 16 snaps, and you're going against, the linebackers, of course, solid here. I like them. D Winters, Fred Warner, Luke Gifford. I do like the Niners linebackers. So I think there's a lot of stunts and twists on that right side over McClendon's side. Not having Haverstein in their starter could be a disadvantage, but this team is solid all the way around. Stafford can get the ball out quick. He's got a very good advantage there on a wide receiver. You're looking at their wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Puka, and then, Jordan Whittingham. Out of Oregon, he's a solid, fast wide receiver. You can bring in Xavier Smith. The first guy off the bench is going to be Tutu Atwell. I think Tutu Atwell tonight is going to probably get 50 to 60 yards. I play a parlay, every night on football, and I did take Tutu Atwell to get 40 yards. I don't know if I want to go to a TD, but I think he's going to be the burner in the middle and the slot wide receiver tonight, especially with Higbee being out. I think they're going to try to spread the field and take advantage to get ahead of the Niners really fast. Like I said, my advantage to this game is going to be the Niners defense being lesser than the Rams offense. Of course, you have Stafford, Kyren Williams, Puka, Devontae Adams. Solid all the way around. You have basically four horsemen right here for the Rams here. The Niners are banged up on offense. I don't think they can keep up with the Rams team here. Chris says a lot of players on San Francisco are hurt. Yeah, we talked about the inactives already, Chris. And it's just something where, man, I don't know who we can throw the ball to if the Niners here. Brock Purdy's out. You have Mac Jones, solid quarterback. I mean, journeyman's been around the league, so he can throw the ball around. But then you have Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to be a strong bell cow tonight, but can he carry the load? He's not the CMC we've seen, years ago where he toted the ball, 30 times a game. He's been injured quite a few times. Last year was basically on, missed the first 8 games of the season. This year he was banged up the first 2. Not really what CMC is right now. Is he still the bell cow? I think that's the reason why they brought Brian Robinson in from the Commanders. You have to have an insurance policy out there just in case, right? Just in case. Because, I hate saying injuries on a player, but when you think about CMC, he's not the concussion injury protocol guy. He's the guy that he's one injury short of being out for this season again. Anything can happen any week with this guy. He's been on the shelf quite a few times ever since he came to the Niners. Even with the Panthers, he was on the shelf a lot. So that's a chance you take with CMC. Arguably, top 5 player when healthy, no matter what. Fantasy guru, you take him automatically. But then you're playing dice there because he's always hurt. So I think that's why they brought Brian Robinson in as well, because it's an insurance policy, like I said. Isaac Garando, I like how he plays. He got a lot of carries last year when CMC was out. Um, I like Isaac. I think he's a strong runner, but I just don't get him the chance when you bring in Brian Robinson. I think Isaac is more of the scat guy that gets you downfield. Robinson's the banger. CMC, of course, out of the backfield, we know what he is. He's a wide receiver, basically in a running back uniform. But the wide receivers, man, Juwan Jennings, Purcell out. You're bringing in Sky Moore, Demarcus Robinson, and Kendrick Bourne, who had a lot of drop balls last week, as your 1, 2, 3. Tight end, Jake Tongs, Luke Farrell is going to be playing a lot tonight. I think possibly they could be going to a 12 personnel if the Rams get a lot of pressure on the front seven on Mac Jones tonight. So, this game to me is interesting in many ways, but on paper, if we look at this game, we're going to say, okay, Rams, minus 10 maybe easily. We do a show every on 6 o'clock every Thursday, and we looked at both. Dan and I are the hosts of the show, and we looked at this game and said, wow, we looked at the inactives. We didn't see all the inactives. We knew Brock Purdy was going to be out. Purcell, I didn't even know he was going to be out tonight. Now looking at it, I'll give you my score really quick tonight. I have the Rams. I'm going to go 31-16 tonight. I think the Rams win by 15. I can definitely see them winning by 10 plus tonight. This Rams team, coming off of a loss last week, Niners coming off of a loss as well. Who has this division on lockdown? There's no team that has it on lockdown, but the Rams are the clear favorite to win this division. Arizona, we don't know what they are. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison finally found the end zone. And then you have really the running backs out. James Cook being out on IR right now, and then this week their backup Trey Benson is on the list right now as being inactive too. So it's top 2 running backs for Arizona is coming out. They're not throwing the ball. Marvin Harrison, like I said, finally found the end zone. Defense is giving up points, looking good 1 week. Seattle, we don't know what they are. Darnold has the team plan. The defense is playing great, but the offense just can't suffice picking up a full game as well. So the Rams have to win this game here because they need that advantage. This is a division game. The Niners coming in at 3-1. So you have to beat this team. And what a better way to get a team in your division when they're banged up. 3 offensive starters out tonight for the Niners. Take advantage of what you have. Rams only have 1 offensive guy out. I'm sorry, the offensive lineman as well. Also weapon Tyler Higbee, which is a huge disadvantage there as well. Stafford loves using that tight end out there, getting out quick out there. One other inactive just came across, Bo Limer, their center activated. He's not going to be activated tonight. He's going to be on inactives. He's the backup as right guard and center as well. So I don't think he's going to be, a utility player being a backup guy. He is a backup second level guy, but Colton Shelton and Kevin Dotson are going to be the starters tonight. They played entirely every snap of the season, so that's not a big disadvantage when you have the Niners being 3 out on wide receivers and quarterback there total. But like I said, I'm going to go 31-16 tonight, Rams. I feel that the Rams are on paper and even on the field, if they execute, they do the job, it's just a clear-cut win for the Rams tonight, But yeah, that's just my opinion. Real quick, our host actually picked the game tonight. We do an NFL pick 'em each week. Tonight, everybody went with the Rams tonight. Nobody picked 49ers tonight. And this is actually yesterday's picks, even before all the inactives came out. So that's our picks for our host every week. All of our hosts on the show, on the network here, we always pick our host. And everybody picked the Rams tonight solid. There is no lone wolf tonight, so nobody can, cry out loud and do the howling tonight. But real quick before I get out of here, guys, the game starts in about 9 minutes here tonight. Appreciate everybody checking in. We have 35 live viewers on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Appreciate all the love out there. Tomorrow night, if you're a college football fan, join me and Eddie. We're going to talk top 25 college football each week. We're going to recap some solid games last week, Oregon, Penn State. This week you got some bangers as well. I can't wait for this week. So join us tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Tune in there. We'll talk about some college football as well. So, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I want to watch this game. I want to see possibly if David can beat Goliath. I don't think it's going to happen. But like I said, 31-16 Rams. I feel that happening tonight. But division game, you never know. On paper, it looks that way. But on the field, execution, we know, right, is the key to the game. So, hey, can Kyle Shanahan pull up something, pull it out of his sleeve or rabbit out of the hat and beat a division team like the Los Angeles Rams? both coming off of a defeat. So we'll see. My name is Paul Spencer, guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And I'll be back Monday night to give you the Monday Night Football preview as well. So I appreciate everybody. Make sure you follow us on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. If you want to start a new show, you're a sports fan out there, you've always wanted to do this. It's easy to do. We make it happen. We started this 3 years ago on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, myself with one show. Now we have over 16 shows per week, and we are in 3 years. We have 1,400 shows on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We stream everything live. Just be passionate. If you love what you're doing, reach out to me. My name is Paul Spencer. You can find me at Facebook or Paul Spencer 215 at iCloud. We'll make it happen, man. Make sure you reach out to me. We'll get it started. If you like what you see, please, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, live streaming 7 days a week. Hit that share button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Also, guys, here's the biggest thing for us. Our new Twitter handle is @BoxSportsENT Entertainment there. We had over about 75,000 followers on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. We got hacked about 2 months ago, so we're rebuilding that. We're really down followers. We really want you to follow out there. So, if you can, share what you watch out there. Get the name out there. We appreciate it. All right. And last but not least, guys, www.w.gg energy drink. No Jitter energy drink. Please use the Batcave for a big discount. One of our hosts, Ken Fry, the host of the Silver and Black and the Batcave, he drinks this every day. He abides by. I haven't had it because I never had an energy drink in my life. Don't need it because I'm kind of hyper as hell anyway. But Ken says no jitters on this drink, so make sure you reach out that website right there, www.gg, and the discount is the Batcave. So make sure you use that Batcave discount for all your drinks needs. So, guys, my name is Paul Spencer. I am getting out of here. It's 6 minutes before kickoff. I am ready. Like I said, hold me to it. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But Rams 31-16 tonight. You heard it here first. My name is Paul Spencer on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. This has been the Thursday Night Football preview. Guys, enjoy the game, and I'll see you guys soon.
Game on game strong, let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play. We see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time.